Yo, Adam, thank you for coming on. It's an honor to have you. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
No, absolutely, man. We want to get your story out there. But we're going to start off with a little icebreaker, man. It's going to be easy. What's your favorite song right now?
My favorite song right now would be Feel No Ways by Drake. I've been on a Drake wave recently, and it's a lighter song, but us as a team, we've been jamming it a little bit in the locker room. Some people love it, some people hate it, but
You
I'm
can
one.
never, ever go wrong with Drizzy.
Never,
The
never.
six God always putting out bangers.
That's what I like right now.
That's what's up. All right, all right. So maybe a little tougher for you. What's your favorite baseball movie of all time?
Bull Durham. Yeah, Bull Durham's my favorite one, man. I think it's funny. I think the storyline is funny.
It
And
is.
then obviously we play at Duke with the Bull, and we even practice on like the OG field on Thursday.
Newt Ganoosh, your favorite character
Yeah,
in there?
yeah, absolutely. I really like it a lot. I think it's hilarious. My pop showed it to me when I was young, and all the whole way, growing up, he would quote that movie and things like that. So I really like it.
So many good quotes out of that movie. All right, man. So speaking of being young, who's your favorite athlete growing up?
My favorite athlete growing up was Bryce Harper. Uh, from a young age, man, when he was on Sports Illustrated as like a 16-year-old, I was like, that guy, that guy's a stud. I remember the Sports Illustrated cover. It was like 99-mile-an-hour fastball, 500-foot home runs, and like something with a catcher pop a time on the front cover. And I was like, this guy does it all, man. I want to be like this guy. And
How often do guys really live up to the hype, right? I mean, it can't be that often. Bryce Harper, LeBron, whether you like him or not, those two dudes were in the spotlight at what, 14 years old and lived up to the hype.
yeah, that's live up to that kind of hype. I don't know. That's the kind of hype where it's like, how can you live up to it? There's guys who are always like, hey, this guy's going to be a first round pick and things like that. And they live up to that hype and they produce and they play really well. But man, like you're on the cover of SI at 16. You're like, I don't know what I've done, what I would have done if I was on SI at 16. That would have been crazy.
I know what I
It's
would have done, but we can't say it on this show because it's it's a family show.
It's crazy though, because like it's very rare where you feel like somebody is doing something that they were born to do. But when you get that kind of hype and you back it up all the way through, and then you have the career that they have, it's almost as if, yeah, they were made just for that.
That dude was made in a lab. I mean,
for sure.
obviously he's out now for a little bit of time, but we expect him when he comes back, he's probably just gonna. It'll be like he picked up right where he left off.
Yeah.
I know why Adam really liked him. It's his hair game, because
I think
Oh,
I think Zaire game's good. I actually got to
it's good.
see I actually got to go to the NLCS last year, and I watched him hit that go-ahead jack against the Pods in the eighth or the seventh live, like 10 rows,
Smoked.
smoked it. Yeah, he's a stud, man. I mean, especially in a game like baseball where you fail a ton, and he just like still just hasn't failed, man. And he's like 16 and just cruised his way up and still just balls.
No doubt. So, last question for me in this icebreaker set. So, we're talking about MLB. Have you had a chance to watch any of the early season stuff?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
I'm putting you on the spot right here, man. MLB prediction. Who wins it all this year?
The
We
Phillies.
will go back to this. Phillies. We're going
Phillies.
Phillies.
I'm going with the Phillies. That could be a hot take because the starting pitching is like that's like the questionable area. But I guess I'll give like a little bit of a backstory. Like I'm from Pennsylvania. I was a Pirate guy my whole life, and I recently switched to be a Phillies fan because my roommate in college, he's no longer here. He graduated. Is his name's Landon Dombrowski. It's Dave Dombrowski's son,
Yeah.
who's the GM of the Phils right now. And he's had us we watch the Phillies every day, that we were in college and stuff like that. So I'm a Phillies guy. And last year they made that run. I think Castellanos will have a better year. I think Bowman will have a better year. And I think the addition of Trey Turner, obviously, that's a no-brainer. And then if they can stay above the water without without Beehart, when he comes back, similar to last year, you could see something like that again.
Adam,
Yo,
I got to
so
tell you, yeah, I got to cut you ready. We've had what, I don't know, like on a guess, like 130 baseball players to tune a guess. Like how many of them have actually known their MLB like Adam's rattling off right now?
yeah, not very many. And I was gonna say, speaking of Trey Turner, also known as Captain America now after the WBC, is there ever been a more smooth slider than Trey Turner?
That's like those videos. I watch them and I'm like, do people just not slide? Like, does he do that on purpose? Like I don't know. Because like
It's so smooth.
I watch people slide, man, and I just like put my face like will hit the base. And I'm just like, what am I doing? But he gets it done. He gets it done. It looks good.
Smooth.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much he doesn't do that you look back and you go, man, that just looks good.
I would be the awkward slider that lands a foot too short. That would be me.
That's my daughter. You ever seen a scorpion?
Yeah.
That's how she rolls.
That one happens a lot when you play on like bad fields before college and stuff, man, because you'll hit the dirt and you got no idea what it's like. And you just scorpion feet right over the top.
Yeah.
For sure.
So Adam, you talk about the Phillies a little bit. Are you from Philly? You a Philly guy?
No, I'm from 50 minutes east of Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh is like really close to Ohio. Obviously, Philly's on the whole other side. I'm like 4.5 hours from Philly. But like I said, my roommate and one of my best friends, just kind of, it was Phillies every night, and we just would watch ball every single night. And I was like, the Pirates are 60 and 102, and the Phillies are, 162. I think I'm gonna make the cross-state change.
Wow.
And that's what I did. That's what I did.
Wow. Are you the outcast?
In my family, yeah, but it's hard to argue with me whenever it's just like the Phillies are playing in the World Series and it's like, the Pirates are wherever.
Wait, so tell me if I got this right. Your dad played at Pitt, right?
He did.
So you're definitely an outcast. Like you completely just bypass Pittsburgh and go straight to Philly. I feel like
No, because I'm a diehard Steeler guy.
now you're Jim. Now you just don't know who you like.
No, I'm Pittsburgh. I'm Pittsburgh everything. I like the Pens. I like the Steelers, but in baseball, I root for the Phillies, and that's because my man B Harp's on the team. But I love the Steelers. If the Steelers lose on Sunday, man, I have a bad week in the fall.
All right. So since we went there, this was a part of Daniel's supposed to be getting into all about where you're from, but the removal of Heinz Field and its name. I mean, how much did that piss you off?
The worst part was like the removal of the ketchup bottles that were like huge, and I go to Steeler games when I can. Obviously, in college, like we're playing fall ball and stuff, and then they changed it, and everybody erupted, and I was like, man, it does kind of suck. It does kind of suck. I wasn't that mad, but then I was like, I heard the first broadcast of the year. It's like we're live from Acrisure Stadium. I'm like, that doesn't even sound intimidating.
Yeah, like what?
Heinz was intimidating, dude. Like people didn't want to play at Heinz, but they'll play at Acrisure Stadium for sure.
You know who the real winner is? Heinz Ward, who got to play in his own stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
So
is.
Adam, you talk about Pittsburgh, but we touched on it a little bit with your dad playing at Pitt. So growing up, is there any pressure from him to play sports or play baseball, or was it just kind of choose your own adventure? You do what you want to do, and we'll find something that you like.
There wasn't like I got introduced to 4 different sports when I was like 4 or 5 years old. The baseball, basketball, a little bit of like flag football, and then a little bit of wrestling. And I was like, I think there was, I don't remember obviously because I was so young, but there was definitely like a little pressure to play sports, but there wasn't any pressure to like be a baseball player like my pops. And they kind of set it out like I've got two sisters, and they kind of set it out like once we got to the age where, we were 13, 14 years old entering high school. They were like, all right, you got two options. Like, you can be an athlete or you can be a surgeon. And like you can figure it out from there. And not necessarily a surgeon, but they're like, you're gonna be like a really smart kid or you're gonna play some sports because I ain't, I'm not raising a bum. And that's like kind of how it was. And so no, there was no like real pressure, but they definitely were thinking about, one or the other. They weren't going to let me just freelance through my teenage years. That's for sure.
No free rides, man, at all.
No
So,
free rides. Absolutely not.
so you mentioned having two sisters. Where do you fall as far as age goes? Are you the youngest, the oldest, the middle child?
I'm right in the middle. I'm 22. My older sister's 24. My younger sister is 20.
What it what's the one thing people should know about the middle child?
I don't know. I feel like I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Yeah.
People always say stuff about that middle child, but I'm like, I don't get it, man.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna get some truth from you. I thought you were gonna be like, you know what? Look, let me tell you about being the middle child.
I'll tell you one thing about, and maybe you guys experience this, but the thing about being the only boy is like, dad cares way less about where you're at than where
Big facts.
yes, dad does not care where you're at, but he cares about where those two daughters are. That's for sure.
Look, man, I have two daughters and two sons, and I'll tell you what I tell them after we get off of the live.
All right. All right. Yeah.
I mean, Eli's his youngest son, and he's probably still out in the streets right now.
Oh yeah, we left him at the fields. He'll find his way back. He's like a stray dog. You feed him, they always come back.
They always come back. They do.
So, Adam, you mentioned playing all these different sports, but obviously, you kind of get to high school and it seems like it's baseball, football, basketball. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what it was.
What high school did you go to?
It's called Forest Hills High School, Sidman, Pennsylvania. Probably like I graduated with 130 kids in my class total. Played on an all dirt infield with chain link fences against guys that threw anywhere from 62 to 89, 90, and that's how that was my high school.
So, I get a sense that it was easier than anticipated.
Then the ACC, yeah,
Well, I mean, of course it should be,
yeah.
but I mean, in relation to Pennsylvania sports, where does your school rank? I mean, is it on the higher end as far as talent goes, or is it on the lower end? You get one or two guys that come out, or is it like we talk to some guys and it's like they go to schools where it's like a factory. It's like a revolving door of athlete after athlete after athlete.
Yeah, we're a wrestling factory. In Pennsylvania, you might expect that. We'd send a lot of guys to big, we send guys to Penn State, we send guys to Iowa, we just sent a freshman to NC State to wrestle. We were 4A in Pennsylvania out of 6. So we were like a little bit, bigger than most schools, but definitely we're not a factory when it came to football, basketball, or baseball. We were the type of school, this is how I can kind of put it. We were the type of school that would like be really good, and then we would win our section, and then we would play a team from Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, and then we would just lose every time. And that's kind of how it was. Here and there, we would catch an upset victory. My ma is the basketball coach, the women's basketball coach, and they've been to the state final for like 3 or 4 times, where they've worked their way through the sectional and the state tournament. But men's sports, man, we would play teams from Pittsburgh, teams from Philly, and that was about it. And that was the end of the season.
I mean, it didn't seem like it slowed you down too much because you were rated by both Perfect Game and Prep Baseball Report as a top 20 prospect from Pennsylvania. You were a 3-sport star. You earned all state honors in football and basketball. You were named All Conference Player of the Year in baseball as a senior. You surpassed 100 career hits, all while batting over 500. You also earned the honor as a junior when you batted 520. You hit 491 as a sophomore, 470 as a freshman. You were a 4-year starting quarterback, throwing for more than 7,000 yards with 57 touchdowns. Then you said, no big deal. I'll just rush for 2,000 more and I'll score 46 more times. You were named All-State 3 times in football. 3 years of basketball, you had 843 points, 554 rebounds. Man,
I actually had 1,280 points. I don't know why they have 800, and I've told them to change it. I have proof too. I got a banner in the gym that says it.
I have a feeling that if anybody has proof, it's your mom. I guarantee you, she probably is running stats for you. Just being a coach herself, she's got all the stats to a T. I bet.
She would since obviously she coached at my high school. A lot of times the girls would have games the same day as us, so she wouldn't get to watch as much. But my senior year, I was gonna not play basketball, and you know how like women get. As soon as I told my mom that, she was just like acting like she didn't care, but then like wasn't talking to me for a week, wasn't doing anything. She was so frustrated, and then I decided to play. I was like, all right, mom, you got me. I'm going back in.
Well, I mean, were you really not going to play? I mean,
Yeah, I really wasn't going to play.
man, why? Can I ask why? Like, what was you just didn't? You needed a break? Were you burnt out? Was it just too much?
No, never in my life did I just play baseball, and I was like, I'm gonna have to just play baseball at a really high level in like 6 months. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna play. I'm just gonna work out, do baseball only, and I was like, play. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think it hindered you from doing what you wanted to do. Um, playing that last year of basketball. Um, on top of all the, athletic accolades, you're also, a member of the National Honor Society, future business leader of America, student council. Um, you know, were academics a priority, or was it just kind of something I, I know that I got to do this to get to the next level, so let me try to do the best I can, or we're at like academics just like ingrained in you, like sports were?
Well, my dad is a superintendent, and so it was just kind of like, yeah, he's like, a lot of people are just like, every time they meet my pops, a guy my age or when I was in high school, they're like, man, he's a little intimidating. And I'm like, yeah, I live with him, and that's just like how it was. It was always like, no, you're not doing that until I see the homework that's done, things of that nature. I wouldn't say he was like, I want to, you need to understand trigonometry extremely well and stuff like that. He's like, just get that homework done and then you're good to go. Things of that nature.
Gotcha. So
Plus,
obviously,
my older sis was a great student. So I was like, I don't want to just seem like a slouch here. So I kind of kept out a little bit.
you had to keep up a little bit.
Yeah, with the older sis.
So, clearly, baseball, you end up taking it to the next level at a high level at that. But at what point in your career do you start realizing, oh man, like not only can I play at the next level, but I can play at a high level, college?
So I this is a kind of a crazy little recruiting story. I was always a big kid, and I was always a pretty athletic kid, just blessed. And I worked real, I much started maturing like earlier and stuff. So I started working out, doing different things. I got my first offer, Power Five offer, when I was 14. I didn't play a high school game yet. And they didn't watch me play Yeah, they watched
What
the video.
what team was this? I gotta know.
I don't know if I should say.
I mean, so I'll tell you this. You would not be the first person that we've had on this show, and you wouldn't even be the second person that we've had on this show that had offers when they were in 8th grade.
Okay. Well, the coaching staff isn't there anymore either. So I guess, but it was just it was Pitt, my hometown team. And I just joined US Elite Travel, which is Coach Ferber. Coach me. Are you guys familiar with Coach Ferbs on Instagram? He's got like 200, 300,000 followers. He's a good guy, man. He loves the game, posts great content. And he just posted me after I joined his team. And then I got a call and they were like, "Hey, we want you to come visit tomorrow. We got an offer for you." And I was like, "All right, no, cool." And so that was kind of when I was like, "Man, that's pretty cool." I still haven't seen a high school pitch yet, but that's pretty cool. And then quickly following, I played my first 2 or 3 elite travel tournaments when I just turned 15 and then played that following summer. And then UVA just won the title, and then they offered me. And then I was like, man, the national, like the reigning champ, just like offered me. So maybe I'm pretty good at this thing, and that's kind of when I was like, yeah, let's try to run with this a little bit, and I just kept doing my thing, and just kept playing, and things worked out how they did.
So I don't know if these are right, but this was the list that we were able to get. You chose Wake Forest over TCU, Virginia, Kentucky, Virginia Tech, Duke, and Pitt. Was that the list, or was there more schools?
There were, not to sound like arrogant, there were way more. Yeah, way more.
Not
So-
arrogant. That's what we're here for, to get your story
No,
out.
Yeah, I mean,
There were way more. I talked to most every school that I had admirations of, at least talked to them like once or twice, that I had admirations that I thought I could play there, or that they thought I could play there. Some were like immediately after the phone call, you're like, I don't know if it's a fit. Some you could tell they weren't, they weren't as interested in me as others. It's just a feel thing. Those were kind of like my final-ish ones. I maybe added Pitt in there for Pops and my grandparents. I love Pitt. I love Pittsburgh. I still watch Pitt football, things like that. But yeah, I had a lot more than just that list. Those were kind of like my final little schools that I was really considering before I committed.
people, I'll say this, Adam, man, people who think it's arrogant to talk about the opportunities you have, they don't truly understand the work that goes into getting those opportunities. So
Yeah.
it's my belief that when asked the question, like, I don't think it's arrogant. I think it's you just proving that you worked really, really hard to get those opportunities. So I mean, it shows. That's quite a list of schools that are wanting you to play for them, but inevitably you choose Wake Forest. So what was it about Wake where you're like, this is the place. This is the right fit for me?
So let me backtrack just like a little bit. I I started getting those offers when I was like 14, 15, but I didn't commit until I was 17. I thought I was gonna be a football player. Like I thought I was gonna play football for sure. I visited Penn State, like UCLA, like Ohio State, UNC, Duke to play quarterback. Like, yeah, I thought that's what I was gonna do. I was like, man, I flew out to UCLA and just like threw a football to some extremely talented recruits with like other QBs who are now playing in college. Like I threw footballs right next to Justin Fields. I threw footballs next to like Tate Martell, Spencer Rattler, all these guys. Will Levis, who's going to go in the first round. I camped with him all the time. And So I was like, man, I'm gonna win the Heisman. I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna win the Heisman Trophy. And then it kind of like I never got that big offer that was like, okay, now maybe I'll be a football player. And then baseball, baseball recruiting starts so early. So teams started like putting a little pressure on me, putting a little timeline on me. They're like, hey man, we love you, but the offer's been out there for 2 years now. And I totally understood that. I was like, yeah, I got you. That makes sense. But Wake was one of the schools that didn't waver from it. So I was like, these guys are just steady on me. I call them all the time, and I'm talking to them. They never mention like giving up football. They never mention like, hey, dude, you only got a month left until we pull it. And then I visited, and that was also near the year that they went to the super regional and were like, had a ton of big left-handed hitters that were just hitting bombs all over the place. And I was like, this place is sick. And they also only had like 8 kids coming in my recruiting class. So I was like, that seems like a nice little bond instead of, a big army of kids coming into a program who maybe won't be there for a long time. There was every kid from my class except one has, 3 are still here and the others are pro. So it's been nice, and that was kind of another big reason why I decided to choose Wake. That's kind of how my story went. It was an interesting recruiting story for sure.
And in one story, you just explained why my son was wearing your jersey and he wasn't wearing anything to represent his dad, because I wasn't good at anything and you're good at everything. So thanks for stealing all sports, Adam. My goodness. My guy can play football anywhere, play baseball anywhere, can hoop. Man, just give me share a little something, Adam, with some of us common folk.
I had to take it all, man, and I loved it all. I was like, I might play both. I was like, if somebody lets me play both, I might play both. I won't play quarterback, but maybe I'll play something else, even if it's like.
Man, we've had a couple athletes on here that have, and they just, I mean, it's so hard to keep up with, as you can imagine. You know how it is with just doing baseball, and you try to tie in that you'd be trying to do football and manage both on top of your academics. It's such a tough life, and college, you want it to be a little bit fun, right?
Yeah, you want it to be a little bit fun. That's for sure. We just played against Clemson. Will Taylor plays football and base. He hits 3-hole and returns punts for Clemson, and plays a little slot receiver. And I was like, that's pretty impressive. I'm watching him hitting in the 3-hole for an ACC team that's notoriously pretty good, and I was like, that guy's a stud.
No doubt. So the first question I got out the gate about Wake Forest, I went there, got to see the mascot, took my pick, but the first thing Daniel asked me was, what is a Demon Deacon? And I gave my explanation, but Adam, I want yours.
A Demon Deacon. So I guess like what a Demon Deacon is, like a deacon of a church, but a Demon Deacon, that's kind of contrary a little bit, but
that's exactly
where we were.
It's like,
I told him he was so angry looking, but he was supposed to be a deacon. So that's where, that's basically what you gauge from it.
Yeah. So the backstory of it was we used to be a Baptist only university. And this is just what I've heard. This could be completely wrong, but we were a Baptist only university. So we were the Wake Forest Deacons, which made a little bit more sense. And then whenever our basketball team was good, I believe in the late 80s or 90s, it was around that time before the 2000s. I guess we had like crazy crowds, and one announcer one time was like, "In the Demon Deacon fans" or something, and then we ate it up. And
you want me to read you what Wake Forest website says?
Sure.
The history of the Demon Deacons blends tradition, sports, and religion. It goes back to the roaring 20s.
Wow.
Adam, when a school reporter gave the football team the nickname Demon Deacons after a devilish win over the Trinity Blue Devils, now known as the Duke Blue Devils. At the time, this is interesting. Wake Forest was the only college in the state without a mascot. And in 1941, Jack R. Baldwin took on a fraternity brothers dare and dressed up as he thought an old-time Baptist deacon would. Top hat, tuxedo, carrying a black umbrella. The football crowd loved it, and a tradition was born. In 1980, the Demon Deacon evolved into a complete costume with a large deacon head.
Yeah,
I think we were right on it.
we were close.
And here's the
I said
thing.
80s.
Here's the thing. Me and Daniel had this discussion. Randy missed that episode. Randy, where were you at like 3 weeks ago, bro? And as far as basketball, I know that I only need to know one alumni member because you brought it up. You're talking about 90s. One Tim Duncan was the man. That dude. But anyways, back to you. Never heard of him. Yeah, he notoriously beat your team, unfortunately.
He didn't when we were there, Jim. 8 seed versus 1 seed. Zebo.
Sure enough. But you get to Wake, man, and when you get to Wake, it becomes a time when the country, is turned upside down. Your freshman year, you only get to play in 10 games before the season's canceled. You bat 241. You did manage to hit 4 bombs, so you did adopt the old Wake Forest concept. But, from a shortened season and, academically, everything that came in that year, what did you just take away from that year with what you could get with the way everything went?
That it sucked. Like that I got sent home. I got down there in the fall, and just like most freshmen do at Power 5 conferences in the fall, I'm hitting in the mid 200s. I'm not playing. I'm not hitting 500 like I did in high school. I'm struggling with it a little bit. I'm like, why can't I hit? Why are these guys blowing me up? Why am I punching out more than I ever have? Things of that nature. I'm like, I got to make a change. End of the fall happens. I'm just like grinding like extremely hard back home, man. I'm like, I gotta make some adjustments. I gotta be an ACC player. I'm also at this time moving from third base and first base to right field and left field. So I'm making positional changes as well. I'm like, I gotta be able to help this team in some way. So I'm like getting it. I'm grinding all the time. Go back, hit extremely well in the spring scrimmages. Don't really crack the lineup early on. Crack the lineup, play like really, really well. My first 7, 8 games, and I'm like, let's go. At this time we were like a pretty good team. We were still ranked in the top 25. Getting my chance, DHing, playing a little left field as a freshman. Can't beat it. Play Louisville, got to face Bobby Miller, who's one of the number 1 prospects for the Dodgers. Got to face Luke Smith post Omaha whenever he went viral for saying F you to the Vanderbilt guy. Yeah.
We've had actually people reach out to us and say, can you get that guy on, please?
Yeah. Didn't get to face Reed Detmers because coach didn't like the matchup left on left as a freshman. Thank God. And continue stealing. And then the last 2 games I went 0-for-4 and 0-for-4. Took my average from like 380 to 240 and got sent home. So I was like, there you go. And I was like, now I'm back home in Pennsylvania. None of my buddies play D1 college ball around me. My dad can throw BP and do front flips, but I can't really do anything else. I was like, this sucks, man. I was like, this sucks so bad.
Yeah. His dad can do front flips and throw BP. He sounds like a Savannah banana to me, boys.
No, I meant like
you mean like front flips with a
I know.
Because I did stop. I was like,
I was making a joke on what he said. we just had them on recently, so I had to roll with that.
From now on, when my daughter says I give her BP, I want her to say that. My dad can do front flips.
But so, all right, you take this break, man. It's obviously got to be hard. You get back, 2021, you appeared in 33 games, made 22 starts. You talked about that average and the dip. So, we're just keeping it real in the show, Adam, because we're going to have a high side of this. So we might as well hit the low side, man. You're batting 192. Talk to me just about because you even said it yourself earlier, talking about when we were talking about Bryce Harper and this being a game of failure. And everybody who plays baseball knows that, what's it like going through that time where you're struggling, knowing that you're way better than what you're producing?
Yeah, and that was the worst year of my life for sure. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to be a member of the team at the end of the year. I thought that I was going to have to enter the transfer portal and play somewhere else. It sucked, man. It was hard on the field because one, we were 20 and 29. That sucks. I can take like, and it's a lot of people say this kind of stuff, but truly, I can take not playing extremely well and winning games. I really can. I think, whenever you're battling with your guys, even if you're not playing that well, you're putting that effort in. You show that you're grinding, and your team's coming out with W's. You can go to sleep at night. But whenever a coach is like, hey, brings you in for the season, hey, I think you're going to have a big year, this and that. This is going to be your breakout year, da da da. And then the team starts the season ranked number 15, and then you win 20 games, and you hit 192. You pinch hit mostly every game. That's all you do. And every time you pinch hit, you just go up there against like an ACC leverage guy and strike out in 4 pitches. It sucked. And I don't like to make excuses, but here's what happened. I started the year, played the first 3 games, played okay. I had a couple hits, probably hitting over 300. Got COVID. No, didn't get COVID. Got contact traced by my teammate. School says that's 14 days in isolation. I said, okay, can't argue it. So missed 14 days. On the 13th day of isolation, I test positive for COVID. So they say 10 more days of isolation. And I didn't see another human for 24 days. I was sitting in a room alone. No checkups, not much sunlight. I could stand and look out the window. And then I came back. I could never recover.
I don't think that's an excuse, and from both phases, because there's the physical side, you're not out there playing, and then there's the mental aspect. You just said that many days of isolation will drive someone insane, right? Like, so I mean, there's something to that, and I really feel like it, because you look at what happens the next season. Obviously you didn't transfer out, and coach saw something in you because you were named a team captain, but your team goes 49-19-1. Let's talk about that. I wasn't going to, but Daniel hates ties more than anything in life itself. How did I didn't go through your schedule. Where did the tie occur, Adam? Do you remember?
The tie happened in a big moment. Louisville, late in the series, late in the year. We win that series. We're probably ranked at this time we were playing, and we were ranked 23. We beat number 6 Louisville in the series. We're probably going to like 16, 17. Instead we tie. They drop us out of the rankings, and Louisville flies home happy.
Daniel, that just pisses you off, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it was whack. I mean,
Was it like did you have how did it end up on a tie? Was it last game of the season? I mean, no
travel.
early game the next day, obviously. Travel.
They had to get to the airport. Yeah, whatever.
Them sons of guns.
Seems like their problem, not y'all.
Yeah, right.
Call
it a no contest. We win. See ya.
It was something for sure, but it sucks because now we're driving everywhere because Walt ain't tying ever again. He said,
"That's DB. Now you have a favorite coach."
Yeah.
Walt goes, we're driving to Louisville. That's like 8.5 hours on a bus, and he goes, we're driving to Pittsburgh, and I make that drive, and I drive fast, and it takes a long time, and I'm like, why? And he's like, I'm not tying. He's like, I ain't tying. And I'm like, all right.
We all highly support that. We are down. So aside from that, nonetheless, like I said, 49-19, complete turnaround. Like I said, you were named the team captain. You started in 58 games in left field, batted .318. So I know you were happy, man. We're coming off 192. We're up at .318 with 71 hits, 14 home runs, 52 RBIs. and 67 runs. So massive season, not just for you, but you talked about being a team player and team success. So let's just start first, man. What's it mean? You talked about, man, could be interesting, but then you're a team captain. What did that honor mean to you?
A ton, way more than I thought it would. Whenever it was announced, I felt better than I've ever felt in my life. And I didn't really like try to show it and stuff. And the best part about being a team captain is that your name goes on the wall, but like you're just boys with your guys, and it just, the only thing that it just shows that they cherish what you say and they cherish the hard work that you put in, and that's all that I ask for. You know, the lineup. I'm surrounded by freaks. I'm surrounded by unbelievable players, and to be there with them, and to be their team captain. I know I'm not the most talented player out there. I know I'm talented. I'm gifted. I don't take that for granted, but I'm with those guys every day. I'm like the captain of the team. That feels good, and that feels good off a year where, like I said, I was hitting a $192, man. I thought I was gonna, after that first year, I had some big leaguers texting me with their advisors and agents, like trying to get me in. I was gonna go to the Cape. I was gonna do this and that. And then that all that nonsense hit, and then coming back the next year and just being, team cap and playing well. That was one of the best. I went from the worst year of my life to probably the best year of my life, and just a couple months. So yeah, being named team captain was an unbelievable honor.
So I got a question. I don't mean to jump in on that, Jim, but when you're talking to younger players about the consistency that it takes when the highs or the lows, what's like a piece of advice that you would give them, about never to get too high, never to get too low? Well, what's something you can tell them? Just keep putting in the work.
The piece of advice that I give every single recruit that steps on our campus is, Wake Forest is recruiting you for a reason. You should never change the player that you are because you get to college and you're having a little bit of like non-success. People are not everybody in the world is like Brock Wilkin and Nick Kurtz and Tommy Hawk, where they can just come in as a freshman and just bang and just be like an unbelievable player. People go through those growing pains, and I'm just like, Wake recruited you for a reason, dude. Be the player that you are. You don't have to try. You don't have to get in the batter's box and try to hit like Brock. You don't have to get in the box and try to hit like Nick. Be who you are, and then it'll all work out. That's what I tell every person who asks me for advice.
That was actually perfect, because I was going to say that when I had Tim Elko on a different show, one of the fan questions was, what would his advice be to Garrett Wood, the new captain, following up in his shoes? And he said, don't try to be something that you're not. You were voted as captain for a reason. So just continue to be who you are. And it sounds so simple, but it really is. I mean, you're put there for a reason. Don't try, now that you got the C on your shoulders, don't try to go Captain America on them. Just keep being who you were to get it, no doubt. So,
but I want to be Brock Wilkin, and I want to be Tim Elko. I want to be those dudes.
Sure, you can be like them, but you can have a different style.
No doubt.
I'm bat flipping. I'm throwing my bat out of the stadium if I hit a home run.
Look, I'm gonna tell you who you want to be like, Randy. He mentioned the name in there, and the first thing that caught my attention was Tommy Hawk's cleats. Boy, my boy's cleat game is.
You just ordered a new pair. They're fire. You'll have to see them.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're leopard print.
There we go.
That's, you know what, Jim? I think that we've been on to something. You share them a lot. Obviously, Dylan Cruz's his cleat game's on point. We need to start up a cleat, like a part of the show that's just, this is breaking news here. We're collaborating on the air. We got to get a cleat game thing going, a contest.
Yeah, no, but Dylan's disqualified because he's got way too many. It's not fair. But we'll get everybody else in.
Well, yeah. Okay, Dylan, yours are pretty fresh.
But going back to the season, before we get into postseason, I want to talk regular season. I was scrolling through it, and so many good individual performances, so many good team performances. So let's start with individual. Do you have a favorite game or series from last year that's just, it stood out? It was your favorite one individually?
Yeah. Miami ACC tournament. We just came off a sweep of NC State. Then we played NC State on Tuesday, lost 11-8. Who's the left-handed pitcher from there last year? Chris Villeman was a left-handed relief pitcher from them who was pretty good. And we were down 3 runs, and there were 2 men on base, and my spot came up in the lineup, and Walt pinch hit for me. For the first time of the year, I came out of the game, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then the next game against Miami, I went 4-4 with 2 jacks and a double. And I was like, rounding third, and I was like, never pinch hit for me ever again. So that was my favorite one.
Well, I might as well just go right into it because I was going to bring that particular series up, or that tourney up. But since you already went there, I'll just go right into it. So you guys win the ACC tourney in dominant fashion with a 16-3 win over Miami at Truist and become the first Wake Forest squad to reach 40 wins since 2017. So you just talk about the game you had, and what were the emotions like paying off? You talked about how the team wasn't successful the year before, you weren't successful. Now the team's successful, you're successful, and then you go into Truist, you win the ACC, and you don't even just do it, but you do it in dominating fashion. So I mean, what was that like?
It was great. After that game, we're like, we're gonna go to Omaha. So we're a good team, and we've been flying under the radar all year. We got a loaded lineup, and we got Rhett Lauder, and we're gonna go to Omaha, and we're gonna win. And it was just, that's how high the vibes were after that game, man. We were 40-17 or something like that, right?
I mean, if you're not feeling that way, I feel like you're doing something wrong, right? I mean, it's once you've reached that next level, it's like, I mean, I know you take it a game at a time, but like, I mean, you got to believe in your team and in yourself that we're gonna do this. But y'all go to College Park for regionals. Just out of curiosity, obviously you've seen I travel around, but never been there. What was College Park like for regionals? A nice atmosphere?
Yeah, it was an okay atmosphere.
He gave it the okay. You see the look on his face. I let anybody who watches this video is gonna get a.
I mean, it was an okay atmosphere. It's 360 to center field. It's like a whack little field. And we get burned a little bit during the regional. We get burned by like some 360-foot center field bombs, and we're just like, what is going on right now? Like, why are we at this place playing here when like we could be somewhere else playing at like a real field? You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, Maryland and UConn were like good teams. I'm not knocking them, but College Park itself, we were just like, dude, like, why are right and left field just like way deeper than center field? It just made no sense.
Because I'm not looking at it right now. How close were y'all to being a regional host?
So I don't know if this is how they base it, but
nobody really knows.
We were the 2 seed at the 15 seed. So usually the team who would host next is the 2 seed at the 16, which was Notre Dame. So
okay.
Off numbers, we were 2 teams away from hosting, but I thought we could have got a host.
Well, you just told us everything we needed to know because Notre Dame got absolutely hosed from hosting, so y'all probably did too if we're following suit on that.
Well, because
Randy's a Tennessee fan and Notre Dame should have never been freaking coming there.
No, oh my gosh, dude! When that selection happened, we got swept by Notre Dame, and all love to Notre Dame. They were a good team last year, and I think they're going to be a better team than they've showed this year. But like, they swept us, and they got announced, and we were like, they're going to beat Tennessee, dude. They're like 4th year, 5th year, just 23-year-old dudes who like don't strike out. They like bunt. They steal bases.
This guy you're looking at is
it's been a good podcast, guys.
No, this guy you're looking at, he's as honest as they come. He said exactly. No, he said what you said verbatim, Randy. He goes, true. The only team out of any team there, he goes, I don't want to see them for the exact reasons you just said.
Old dudes, man.
Yeah, and it was the thing
the last time.
And Adam, it's when you're facing a team like that, like Tennessee, they were brash and they talked and they flipped, and Notre Dame was never going to be fazed by any of that. They were never going to be fazed by the atmosphere. They had gone into Duty Noble the year before, and they came up short, but they learned a lot from that. You got guys like Jack Brannigan that just had the series of his life, and I love that kid's a great player, but just played out of his mind. And they had pitchers coming out that nobody even heard of, and they're dropping. I mean, it was an awful matchup. NCAA.
And then Adam, the
committee
beauty
do
is
better.
he got to interview literally 24 hours after that series was over. He got to interview Jack Brannigan on this show.
right here in my face.
When it was like, when it got announced, we were like, damn, we were like, that's a tough matchup. Like, and I would never talk down on us, but I was like, if we were the 16 seed and went to Tennessee, like we probably weren't getting out of that super. You know what I mean? We were a solid team. You know, maybe we had a chance with Red on the mound, but like that was a bad matchup for Tennessee.
So we're gonna have to talk to the committee, Randy. I mean, Wake got hosed, Notre Dame. There clearly some hate towards the ACC. We
didn't even bring up NC State kind of getting hosed. Maybe,
NC State, yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Well, let's just go there because I don't think any Ole Miss folks are going to listen to the Wake Forest episode. Ole Miss shouldn't even been in, but you know that is what it is.
We swept State out of the tournament, which was
you
sick.
did. I was going to say what you were the reason they didn't get in because they got swept that last weekend.
But I appreciate you sending. I appreciate you sending my boy Tommy White to LSU though. Thanks.
Yeah, we did. We sent him out of there because they didn't make the postseason. And he was like, I don't want to make the postseason. But he was like, I want to make the postseason. So he went to LSU. But
that's probably a pretty good move.
Did you ever see the video they made after they beat us in the ACC tournament? Oh my God. So we sweep them at their place. And so I made a diving catch to end the game Saturday, and McGregor walked into the infield and then threw the ball like just out of the stadium. And then like the next day, our center fielder caught it and like whipped the ball out of the stadium. And then we were mocking them on their field a little bit. And they put all that in the hype video for the ACC tournament, and then they didn't make the postseason. I'll have to send it to you.
You got to bring it if you're going to make the video. You got to bring it.
That is beautiful.
But nonetheless, obviously, you know, y'all come up short in College Park. But I got to ask, like, you know, obviously y'all felt like y'all were going to have a chance to win it all. You did not. But there's got to be a talk because you know everything that's coming back. Your coach knows everything that's coming back. And so not all teams have that luxury. There's got to be an immediate talk like, you know, as soon as the pain is gone, like, guys, we're all coming back and we can do this thing, right?
Yeah, there was a talk for sure. You know, we knew we were losing Turconi and Tinsman. Pierce Bennett and I were draft eligible, and there was a talk between me, Pierce, Walt, the other coaches that were like, hey man, like, you know, you could probably sign and take your money, but you could also probably come back and help lead the team to a deep postseason run. There was a talk for sure, and it was all like, it was serious, and we walked out of that College Park regional like, oh my God, we just played horrible on ESPN2. Like that, why did we play so poorly? And I just remembered like dudes in the huddle post game, they're just like tearing up, crying, you know, 20-year-old guys, and they're just like, man, this is like, what even just happened there? We're walking off the field, man. That was the worst taste in my mouth after a game ever. I'm like, gosh, we just played so bad. And there was a talk, and we were like, hey man, if we're gonna do it, like we're not gonna come into this year like, we're easily gonna walk through stuff. We're like, we're gonna grind this summer, like we're gonna be keeping up with each other for sure. And like we're gonna be holding each other accountable from different states that we're in, man. And if you ain't getting it done, then like you ain't going to be a part of it. And it was like serious, where it was like, this is no joke. You know, this is going to be how we change the tide of how this program is viewed. And yeah, it was definitely a talk, and it's so far been so good.
Yeah. And so coming into this year, like, you know, people like to, you know, always hate on people's rankings. And for us, a lot of ours, all three of us have our own, but a lot of ours was, we had you too high. I had you number 3 to start the season, and people didn't understand why. And it's one, what we talked about, like from building from last year. But I told Randy, I had looked at, y'all had 7 top 100 MLB draft prospects on your team. I said, you can't have that much talent on a team and not think. You got the ACC pitcher of the year coming back. I mean, I was you know, just listening to all these things, and I said, so, I mean, I really feel like Wake Forest is going to be that team that nobody's going to pay attention to, and they're going to be sneaky good because, you know, everybody likes to pay attention more to the SEC and Big 12. You know how it is in the ACC. And so, you know, We are clearly devastated at the loss, but you bring all that back, and you guys come in this season, and now you're 26-3. You're ranked number 2 in most polls. But with that, I just kind of mentioned flying under the radar. Daniel doesn't do the Twitter thing. Me and Randy are still having to defend ourselves at this point. Like
I was about to say, keep it a buck. We're still arguing to this day.
Yeah, and so I asked this, Adam. Like, not are you mad at anything? Do you like people just overlooking you guys? Do you embrace that?
No, I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it at all. It's like, I don't really embrace it to the point where, like, I don't know why they're over, that makes me mad that they're overlooking us. It's just like, man, you must just not watch. Like,
oh, look, Randy, tell him, Randy.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
No, tell him what they said.
There was a guy. This is the weekend after Jim was in Wake, right? Watching you guys. There was a dude on there that said, quote, "You probably don't even know where Wake Forest is."
I saw that today.
I mean, it's like coming off of him posting pictures of him and his son with you guys and the Demon Deacon that we know the history of. I think that people just get on Twitter just to say dumb shit. Like They don't watch, and they only watch their team. And that's been the hardest part about having this podcast. I really my whole life try to be, I'm a Tennessee fan, but I'm not biased. I was just in Alex Box this last weekend. And I went into that knowing like that's one of the greatest atmospheres in college baseball. This team's really good. Paul Skeen's a pretty good dude. We might lose this series.
Yeah.
But these Tennessee fans started attacking me like, what? How do you think we're going to lose the series? We have the best starting. It doesn't. Let me think. They got MLB players. This guy. Same thing with Wake Forest. You look up and down your lineup. I mean, it's crazy that people argue about anything.
I don't understand. Like in college baseball, players watch. Like I sit here. I watch Tennessee. I watch LSU, and I watch everybody. And anytime they're on, and I watch, and I'm like, that's a good team. I watch Florida play, and I'm like, that's a good team. I watch LSU play, and I'm like, that's a good team. I'm sitting there trying to time up Paul Skeens in my living room, and I'm like not able to do it.
Well, neither was the Tennessee lineup for the. I mean, he had 12 strikeouts. It was a religious experience.
But
yeah, and I don't. If people are like, I don't know why you have Wake ranked so high, I'm like, well, the record backs it up, the resume backs it up. We've beaten the teams who people have said we're not going to beat, and we play solid baseball, man. We get it done, and at the end of 9 innings, the scoreboard has Wake Forest is in the lead, whether what it looks like or not on the field. We're in the lead at the end of 9, and that's what matters.
Yeah, and so let's talk about your production. We were talking about year to year climbing, and this is even honestly, obviously, I looked the last X amount of games, obviously in a little mini slump, and it's amazing. You're going through that, and you're still batting 356, 9 home runs, 29 runs, and 30 RBIs.
I got a little bit of a hamstring strain 11 days ago. I haven't played.
Yeah. I saw that you didn't play last week. I figured it was hurt because I knew one bad weekend didn't get you put out of line about him, not with your stats.
Yeah,
I did see you struggled the weekend before that. Let me ask you this, because that was the first weekend I really had seen you struggle. Did you get hurt during play and keep playing through, or how'd that go about?
I got hurt the following Tuesday. Notre Dame, they just had my number. They were attacking me with like anything that I felt like was coming. They were coming with the opposite. And anytime I put like any remotely good swing on a ball, I was just like, man, I'm not. It's just one of those baseball weekends where you're like, hey, chalk it up, man. I didn't play that well, and that is what it is. And then I moved on, and then I strained my hammy a little bit. But I'm looking to come back this weekend. So
yeah, no, absolutely. So, one thing I want to touch on, and then we'll get to this weekend and I'll let you go. Like, I want to talk about your pitching because obviously people call you guys Rake Forest, rightfully so, man. You went up and down that lineup. And people talk about Rhett Lauder, but when you talk about O'Sullivan, everybody, like, I don't think people realize just how good your pitching is, man. Just for those who don't know, because Randy said some people don't pay attention to the other teams. Just for those who don't know, just talk about how good your pitching staff is.
Yeah, if to talk about how good our pitching staff is, our lineup is we're hitting 301 right now. In the preseason, I think we hit below 220 in the inter squad scrimmages.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what makes you only better, right? You're going against the best of the best in your inner squads. I mean, so you're ready for everything that you're going to face when you get into the regular season.
We don't even have Teddy McGraw. He's hurt and he's out. He would have been the Saturday guy. He touched 101 in the preseason, and
Wow.
he spins it at like 3,000. He's got 4 pitch mix. Pitched for USA last summer, and he got hurt, and he arguably would have been the best pitcher on the staff. And we don't even have him, man. And he gave up 0 hits the whole preseason. He was pitching with a torn UCL, throwing 95 to 97 with Tommy John needed.
Wow. I'll tell you a guy who I was impressed with when I was there at the Notre Dame series closing down a game. I'm not going to try to say his last name. I might butcher it, but Camden, number 14. That dude, man, that's a bulldog right there. I don't want nothing to do with that dude.
Yeah, he closes games for us, and we always want him in there. We get to the ninth of the lead, we're like, all right, let's bring Cam in. It's one of those it's one of those closes where you just feel good about it every time he goes out there. And we feel good about all our guys. Nobody we don't, man. You start with Red on Fridays, and I'm knocking on wood right now, but it's like, dude, we just like every Friday, bro, it's just like 7 innings. 7 innings with just like zeros up.
I sent them a video immediately of all his strikeouts when I was there. I mean, to get to see it on TV is one thing. To see it firsthand is a whole nother.
He does those changeups. It's like they start in the middle of the strike zone. A righty swings at it, and it like ends up behind their back foot. It's like a left-handed breaking ball. It's crazy, dude. And he just every Friday, he did not have his best stuff at Clemson, and it's just like 7 innings, 1 run. And you're just like, oh my goodness, dude. Like, how are you doing this every weekend? He's just so reliable. And he's such a competitor, man. Like, he'll be at a high pitch count, or instead of being 94, 95, he'll be like 92, 91, 93, and he'll just be like getting it done. And I'm just like, that's what's up.
No doubt. And that's why the three of us have been behind you. So let's finish with this, and then I'll let Randy play game, man. So obviously, you talked about the weekend coming up with you're on the road at NC State.
They're coming here, actually.
Are they?
Yeah,
My bad. Man, somebody needs to fix in the SI department, because I swear it said at NC State. But no, and then you got Louisville after. So ACC, like I said, stacked. Talk to me about just staying focused. You got that number 2 ranking. Just staying focused week to week, taking care of business. You're a captain, you're a leader. What are you saying to keep the guys locked in and not overlook any game, any weekend, going forward?
Yeah, you don't want to overlook anything. That's for certain. But you can't but in it's young kids and it's college baseball, you can't help but be like, hey, we're 10-2 in conference. We got a 2-game lead on everybody else, and we want to win the ACC. So like, we got to keep winning games, man. It's like there's no let up. We're just like every single day. Today at practice, we're coming off back-to-back sweeps, 8 straight wins. Today's practice just like getting after it. We got a game at Elon tomorrow. We beat up on Elon a little bit 2 Tuesdays ago, 20-0, but they're a good team. And like, they're definitely gonna, when you beat a team 20-0, they're gonna want it a little badly the next time you play them. So we got a big game tomorrow against a team that wins a lot on the weekends. And then obviously we're gonna have a big weekend against NC State. They're gonna pack the crowd. Even at our place, we're gonna pack the crowd. It's that in-state rivalry. And last year we took 3 from them on their own field, and I can tell you one thing, that they definitely didn't forget it, because we didn't let them forget it. And so they're gonna be coming out for us, and it's gonna be a game by game battle, man. And although NC State, they're not ranked right now, they win a couple weekends, they're gonna be a top 15 team. That's just how it is.
Oh yeah, they're a good team. But listen, man, you're off the hot seat. We're gonna play a little game. It's called This or That. The rules are pretty simple, Adam. I'm gonna give you 2 options, and you cannot say neither, and you can't say both, man. You down?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a little hesitation, man. A little hesitation. We'll start off easy, man. This or that. Would you rather have a teleporter or a time machine?
That.
No, that you know what? I said that wrong. Let's go with it's those two options only. Teleporter, time machine.
Time machine.
Time machine. Would you go like where would you go? In the past or in the future?
Well, anytime I messed up, I would just be like, I gotta go back. Or like if I missed a heater like down the middle, I would just go back to
Rewind.
rewind it. Yeah, every time and then hit 800 with 100 home runs.
Perfect. Video game numbers.
Yeah.
All right. So this one gets a little bit tougher. Would you rather be trapped in a romantic comedy movie with your enemies or a horror movie with your best friends?
Horror movie with best friends. I got funny best friends. Even if we were like some horror movies, you get like a little bit of comedy out of it.
For sure.
I feel like we could provide some like comedic relief even if someone was coming after us.
Absolutely. It'd be like you ever seen that Killer Clowns movie from outer space?
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to be scary, but I just laughed at it.
Yeah.
It scared me, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I don't like clowns.
I don't either. And like there was like 72 of them getting out of a car. All right, I'm with you on that, actually, Jim. All right, Adam. So strongest person in the world or be able to fly.
Be able to fly.
Where would you fly to, Adam? Like
Wherever
you
I
can't
felt
like angels in the outfield?
Where would I fly to? Probably like Italy a lot. Just hang out there.
You know, that's not bad. DB's got stories about Italy. He's been there. He's
Yeah.
very cultured, that Daniel. Would you rather have your bed cut in half by length or half by width?
Width. I'm way too tall for it to be cut in half by one. Okay.
I feel that. All right, this one's going to get a little tougher. Do you prefer the pinstripe uniforms or the black uniforms?
Pinstripe for sure.
Nothing like it, right? Classic.
They're newer. They're stitched a little better. Oh, things like that. The new black ones that we get next year, I won't be there, but you'll wait and see.
You're going to get like an honorary black uniform?
No.
If they get a natty, he better.
Yo,
yeah, that would be sick. But
Jim, maybe he should just
wait and
take
see
one.
on the black ones next.
Which Adam, when this game is done, don't forget to bring up the uniforms that are currently. We're gonna get into it now, but the uniforms that are being auctioned currently.
Oh yeah.
All right. If you could only pick one of these, would you pick your favorite concert or your favorite sporting event?
Sporting event. I've never been to a concert.
Never, not one.
No, not one. I would rather just like sit on my porch and listen to them than go there.
All right. So you said
Because I
sporting
can
event.
pick the song. Because I can pick the song.
No, I'm kind of with you on that. Like my daughter's been sweating me about this Morgan Wallen concert. I'm not for it.
Yeah.
And I love Morgan Wallen, just so we're clear. But all right. So you said sporting event. Obviously, you've been to some pretty high level MLB games. But any sporting event in the world, what are you choosing?
I would go to the Steelers Super Bowl.
You know, I thought that's an easy one for you, and I understand that. I mean, it's not like y'all have enough of them. What y'all got, like 5, 6?
6.
My goodness, I know I said 5 just to kind of get under your skin, because I know how Steelers fans and Cowboys fans really go back and forth at each other about that. All right, this is going to be a tough one. Would you rather be now? Preface this: you're dying either way. Attacked by a grizzly bear or attacked by a tiger?
Wow, that's a tough one.
Hey, while he's thinking, Randy, so I went and visited Mike the Tiger's habitat this weekend. You remember how they said tigers don't like to get in water? My man just walked through the water gracefully and did not give a damn. So the water's not safe either for those of guests that we've had that said they would go dive out into the water.
Your hot take: he's soft. My man ain't been out there. My man out there chilling, bro.
I think I would pick a tiger. I think it would kill me faster.
That's exactly what a lot of people say, because I don't want the bear to play with me and like toss me around.
Yeah.
I'm not playing dead. I know I can't outrun it. We had a Tennessee outfielder, I think it was Christian Scott, who said that he could outrun a bear. That's absolutely not true. You could not outrun a bear. See, Scott, I love you, but you ain't outrunning the bear. All right, last one before we let you off the hook here. Would you rather betray your best friend or go to jail for 5 years for a crime you did not commit?
I would rather betray my best friend.
Absolutely.
That's the right answer, Adam. I mean, I'm sorry.
5
Easy-
years. 5 years.
easy answer.
But Adam,
kind of-
you'd be surprised how many guys like I couldn't betray my best friend. I'm going to jail for 5 years. It's like
what kind of betrayal are we talking about?
Y'all are not going to be homies no more. Never again. It's over.
But you said it right, Adam. It's 5 years in prison, bro. You don't really want to do that for something you didn't do.
I'm 22 years old right now. I hope I experience some really good things between 22 and 27.
And jail ain't one of them.
I hope you do too. I
Yeah.
hope you do too.
Yeah.
And I hope it's not prison.
Yeah, me either. I would not want to go to prison.
Man, you're off the hot seat. You did well.
Nice, solid job, solid answers. Adam, man, before you get out of here, anything you want to plug or promote?
Yeah, I would like to plug. We're having a charity game this Saturday. We do it once a year, often all the time at home. It's on Saturday at 4:00. We are having a game for epilepsy. We are wearing lavender purple jerseys. They are sick and they are up for auction. You can get guys like Rhett Lauder's jersey, Brock Wilkins jersey, Nick Kurtz jersey, Tommy Hawk's jersey, or any number that you would like. You got to, put up a bid and hopefully you win. But you can find a link on the Wake Forest Baseball Instagram page, Wake Forest Baseball Twitter page. You can find the link in my Twitter bio. I'll put it up there right after this. And you can find it on any of our other players' pages. We all retweeted it. Last year, we made a ton of money that we donated, and we would love to do it again this year. It's been a great success. If you're listening from Winston-Salem or the area, would love to have you guys out there. It says that it's sold out, but I'm sure you could always pull up to our guy at the gate and he might let you in for a couple bucks. And we would love the support for the Deacons, especially against our in-state rival. So that would be awesome. It's really close to some of the guys on our team's hearts. This disease, it's affected some of them and their loved ones in their lives. So that would be great for you guys to check that out.
Absolutely. We'll get the link out there. We'll share it as well with the episode.
I appreciate
But if y'all want to know more about Adam, go on over to Instagram at Adam Cecere or at Wake Baseball. You got a game tomorrow night. You're traveling to Elon. That'll be on Flow Sports. You got a big one this weekend against NC State. They're coming to town. Obviously, Friday night, 6:00 ACC Network. Saturday, 4:00 ACC Network. Sunday, 1:00 ACC Network. But the big thing, more than anything, is the Saturday game for epilepsy. You're auctioning off the jerseys, those sweet lavender purple-ish jerseys, dude.
Yes,
Before you bounce, man, I got a question. Are you like, is there like a feeling one way or the other, like if your jersey doesn't get auctioned off for much money, do you feel a certain way about it, or do you want yours to be like the hot seller?
I think my mom bought mine last year.
I know that Brock told me, this isn't going to surprise you guys, but Brock told me his sold for the most last year. So he's
Okay,
but
here, hold on. Let me preface.
Here we go. That's why I asked this, because I knew there was some feelings here.
So we check. We definitely check. And 2 years ago, my mom bought mine, so I was happy it went for cheap because my dad was like, "Oh, it was sold for like, I don't know, $300, $400, which is still kind of expensive." And my dad saw it in her closet and was like, "Are you like what the?" But then last year I didn't play in the series. It was the only games I missed all year. I had the flu. And they thought and I didn't end up playing, so it got auctioned off. I didn't even really check. I was just so sick. But Brock's his ex-girlfriend now, she definitely like put a fat bid in there because she's out of college, like she makes like grown-up money, and she definitely put like a pretty fat bid in there to get his jersey and make it look like it's sold for the most.
I had to look right now. Brock's is currently at $2,010.
Is that the highest?
Right now, yes. He's got
What's
25
Rhett's
bids
at?
on his.
What's Rhett's at?
What's Red's number right off the top of his head?
4.
4. Red is he's got 20 bids, 630. So yeah, Brock is man. Ooh.
Somebody just loves Brock because his is one for over. And I might have been his ex-girlfriend. I'm telling you, it might have been last year. Well, they were dating at the time. But what?
Look,
What
I
He's
would,
got, so you're telling me really what's happening? We got a bunch of girls just going all over Brock's jersey. They all fighting for it.
Or Coach Billy Salento, he loves Brock. We're always like, he's got 4 daughters. We're like, oh, Brock's your son, so we know you're definitely throwing some of that salary on his jersey. And he always laughs and stuff. What's mine going for right now?
3 bids, you got 150. I'm bidding on that Joker after the episode. Since I can't get Brock, I'm
150.
getting Adams. I hate to have to settle for you for second, Adam. It's all good.
I mean, how would you feel if Jim ends up with your jersey and not your mom?
That's fine.
Maybe outbid your mom.
Listen to this. So so LSU, they're purple, but you said Wake's your second favorite team, right? So it'd be Demon Deacons purple jersey. Then we play in Omaha for the national championship, and you can just rock that. And then you can be in a win-win situation.
I mean, I'm rocking the Wake hat right now. I got y'all's poster that I got from the game signed over here. Like, hey, I got some Wake stuff in all this LSU mess.
Yo. So we know that he will have to be wearing Wake because LSU will probably be the number 1 seed, and we know the number 1 seed does not win national championships.
We doing this? We doing this?
I think that
that's what we know.
I don't think they'll lose the postseason game until Omaha.
Well, I'm not saying they won't get there. I'm saying that we know that the curse is real. The number 1 seed since 1999 has not won the national championship. I mean, that's what we know.
You can go find my post. I said this, Adam, and one of these 5 has fallen off really bad. But they haven't fallen off really bad. But Stanford just hasn't looked like who I thought they were. But I said I would take LSU, Wake, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Stanford against the field. I still feel really good about 4 of those, specifically you guys and LSU. So I feel like obviously baseball anybody can win, but I like the ones that I said right off the top.
Vanderbilt can pitch though.
Hell, they can hit now.
I've seen the scores of the games and they have scored runs, and I know a couple of the guys in the lineup.
Here's my thing on Vandy though, and me and Randy talked about this though. I don't think Vandy's better than Florida or Tennessee, and I know Tennessee. You're gonna say they've lost some games. Tennessee, just watch when Tennessee plays Vandy, it's gonna change. Tennessee's got just something special for Vandy every time.
They got something special for Florida this coming weekend.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's an interesting series. So is South Carolina LSU because
that's who Daniel's rolling with. He's on the South Carolina train.
He was until he heard your coach's theory on ties. Now
I know, but I do have Wake Forest in my number 1.
That's true. Daniel is the only one that has Wake number 1 over LSU, and of the 3 of us.
Yeah, did you post? Is that on?
And
Twitter?
he did. And he took some heat for it. He took the most. But the best part is Daniel doesn't read Twitter, so he posts it, and then anybody can say what they want, and he's never going to respond.
He responded to one guy and basically just gave him the old, he said, "Just hey man, relax. It's baseball. Don't worry about it."
That's funny.
But no, hey, I ain't gonna. I'll let your mom get your jersey. I'm gonna get Hawks. That's what I'm gonna do.
That one could end up going high.
Well, damn. Yeah, all right.
Going high.
All right. Well, I'm
gonna buy mine.
Well, I'm gonna find somebody who doesn't, that poor guy who doesn't get the bid. Like
who is a good one to buy? Who's gonna be a hero in the postseason? Pierce Bennett, number 5.
All right.
Or 6, 5 or 6, both good ones. Both guys who are gonna be, they like fly under the radar a little bit until they don't. And then,
what's that link again? Let's get that live here.
That link is.
I clicked on it off the page, so I don't know because it says Dink's info, and then it's got a lot of different letters in it. But you go right to the Wake Forest page. It's right there to click on. That's how I was on it and started looking at it.
If you go to just godeeks.com, you can find it on there.
But I have a feeling it's still early. I guarantee you by Saturday these bids are going to be rolling.
Yeah,
My
Now-
daughter, hey, my
now it
daughter is
all-
epileptic. I got to buy one of these jerseys now.
Now
yeah,
it
you
all
should get one of them.
it all makes sense. Like the Insta logo is changed to lavender.
Yeah,
I get it now. I was thinking like why is it like that? Now I know.
yeah, it's always fun. Last year, oh, I forget the cause last year. That's kind of bad, but I do. It was we donated a ton of money, man. We made a lot of money, and it was great. We had some people out, some patients out who were dealing with the disease, and it was great, man. They threw out the first pitch, things of that nature. It's really it's like touching, it's one of those things where you end up, you're like, wow, I'm pretty lucky, even if I'm 0 for this game, I'm like pretty lucky. So yeah, it's not bad.
Well, Adam, man, we wish you nothing but the best, man. Good luck tomorrow night. Good luck this weekend. Hopefully, injury free. You come back, you're ready to rock and roll, man. And who knows? We hope to have you on to talk, about a special season, later on.
I appreciate y'all having me. Obviously, love the content you guys put out. I'm looking forward to sharing this one, watching some future ones, and would love to see some more Deeks on here or meet with you guys again, man. That would be
We're
great.
bringing you back after the national championship if it ain't LSU and it's y'all, man. All of them, whoever.
Hey, if you can find me for 3 months, then maybe then you can bring me on. Yeah. All right, guys, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. That's Adam Cecere, everybody. We're gonna take a quick break, guys, when we come back. And when I say quick, I mean like super quick. Jim, go do your thing as fast as possible because we got a lot of headlines to talk.